In this video, I'll be going over 9 tips to help you find meaning in your life. This seems pretty obvious, but the first tip is to zero in on your strengths. If you want to feel like what you're doing is meaningful, then this is possibly the easiest way to find that meaning. It doesn't have to be a one-to-one thing either. In my case, I've loved reading, writing, and creating for a long time. Creating for me has meant a wide range of things over the years. Writing music, making videos, writing stories. You get the idea. When I'm doing any of these activities, or really anything that keeps me off my phone, I feel good knowing that what I'm doing has meaning to me. I feel like what I'm doing has a purpose that I can be proud of. The product of executing on anything that holds meaning for me is this sense of fulfillment. Obviously, this isn't the same for everyone, and you might be happy with keeping some of your strengths exclusively as hobbies. I don't necessarily want to become an author, but I still like writing stories, and I love reading now as much as I did when I was a kid. I have, however, turned that passion towards script writing for these videos. Let's say you're someone who really likes playing team sports. For the average person, maybe becoming a professional athlete doesn't seem possible for you. Unless you're in the small minority that does go pro, that doesn't mean the skills you develop from playing sports is useless. Being a good communicator, being able to make quick decisions, and thriving under pressure are useful skills in a variety of situations. If you naturally end up being named captain on your team, or like developing strategies to get better and win more games, maybe you would feel fulfilled pursuing a career in a management or strategic development position. If you like problem solving, creating new things, and discovering ways to optimize performance, you might be suited for software or back-end web development. No matter who you are, you have skills that make you a good fit for some role. If that role is aligned with what makes you feel proud of what you do, then purpose and meaning are basically guaranteed. Having something you are good at and you enjoy will drive you to show up for yourself each and every day. While not quite the same, I read this article while doing research for this video that said to adopt a craftsperson's mindset. What this means is, instead of passively participating in whatever you are doing, try to see how it fits as part of the bigger picture, and maintain focus on your small task. Doing so will allow you to find meaning in it, instead of being concerned with generating it. Tip number 2 is considering the challenges you have already faced and overcome. It's really easy to get stuck in your head when going through hard times and feel like you're in this rut where you can't do anything at all. In these moments, one of the best approaches to getting past this is to remember exactly how far you have come. No matter how small, try and dig deep through all of your experiences and think of times where you were successful. It could be as simple as showing up for yourself on a day where all you wanted to do was wrap yourself up in a blanket and hide away in a dark room. It could be opening up a blank page and writing down the name of that assignment you've been putting off. It could be steeling yourself and doing your best on a class presentation you've been dreading. No matter what the challenge is, there are unique struggles that you've overcome in your life. By recognizing even the most minute wins, it helps you remember just how resilient you are. Take pride in these little victories, and then take it a step further. Ask yourself, of all of my wins, are there any that stand out to me? Have there been any instances where I felt truly driven as a result of one of these moments? Through introspection, try to find what resonates with you the most. This can apply to gaming as well. Take zombies, for example. On the surface, it's all about survival. If you look a little more closely, there is a surprising amount of depth just waiting to be discovered. Want mindless fun? You can go for a high round. Want more of a challenge? Run wall weapons only, or no perks. Take the challenge even further and learn to do the Easter eggs. Maybe you just want to meet new people or hang out with your friends online. Being intentional will guide you towards what meaning the game has for you. Tip number 3 is short and sweet. The idea of creating your own priorities timeline is to write down what your current priorities are and observe how these have changed as you have grown up. What mattered most to you at 7 years old is likely different to what matters to you now. If it isn't, I envy you. At 7, I probably just wanted to make friends and hang out playing Pokemon Ruby all day after school. At the time, that would have been at the top of my list. Arguably, it still is, but the stakes are higher now and there are greater opportunity costs to it, and there's this. It's super simple to take like 20 minutes and write down your top 3 priorities at key points in your life. You could go in 5-year increments, for example, taking note of any overlapping items. If something keeps coming up over and over again, maybe ask yourself why that is. Tip number 4 is considering life where money isn't an obstacle. A survey published in 2024 stated that in the US, only 8% of Americans were working their dream job, and between 33 and 42% of the people surveyed cited financial reasons as a primary obstacle. So if we take money out of the equation, what would you do? If you woke up tomorrow and didn't have to show up for work, what would you choose to do? Without having the looming anxiety of needing money to survive hanging over their head, the typical person would probably choose to follow their passion. Whether that means leaning into their creative side, studying what interests them with no concern of what follows, or maybe just staying within the comfort of their home. While I don't necessarily recommend leaning into being sedentary, taking a break isn't a bad thing. Everything in moderation, you know? Another way to look at it is to consider what you want to accomplish in your life. Like I said earlier, meaning can be found in overcoming adversity. Accomplishment goes hand in hand with this. You will naturally work harder towards a goal if it is something that resonates with you. By applying the craftsman's mindset, you can recognize what role you play in a bigger picture and cultivate meaning from your contributions to the end result. Tip number 5 is simply caring about something. There is a lot of crossover between this tip and some of the previous ones, so real quick, let's talk about the nuances that I feel warrant it getting its own section. Think for a moment. Can you pinpoint what you really care about? It doesn't have to be anything huge. It could be your family, it could be making enough money to remove the stress of living, it could be feeling comfortable after working long hours, or even just finding a job that doesn't demoralize you in every single day. If you can figure out what you care about, this can be helpful in determining a course of action. Like I said in previous sections, having a clear goal helps to define purpose, and purpose helps create a sense of meaning when you might otherwise feel lost. So, define what you care about, and it might help you discover something meaningful to you. Tip number 6 is similar to caring, but personally, I think it's way more powerful. Finding your why, or your reason for being, is like finding your master purpose. It's like having that craftsman's mentality and applying it to your place in the world. Look at what you're doing, what you're good at doing, and what you like doing. If you can get those 3 things to line up, you will find your purpose. Knowing you have a purpose amidst the billions of people on Earth should motivate you to do your best and give your all. This could take you hours, or it could take you years. Don't give up on yourself just because you can't figure out what you have to offer the world. The time you invest in discovering what really drives you to show up for yourself or for others will be time well spent. Find your why and feel the weight of the world become a little bit lighter. Tip number 7 is to volunteer. The Oxford Dictionary defines volunteering as to offer to do something without being forced to do it or without getting paid for it. Basically, giving your time and energy to something or someone without an expectation of return. If you've tried everything else so far on this list and have found zero success, maybe try volunteering. It's a great way to give back to your community. This can be your local community or an online community, whatever you feel more passionately about. As a teenager, I did a lot of volunteering. At first, I treated it like a chore, and to be honest, I wasn't that excited about it. I felt like I was just doing what I had to do to fill out the community service hours for my career course in high school. When I changed the way I looked at it, and instead saw it as doing a good thing to help other people, I was way more engaged with each opportunity. I would look forward to showing up and getting to interact with people, contributing in some small way. I had no idea what I wanted to do after high school, and volunteering was actually pretty helpful in keeping me from straying too far off the path. If you can, I highly recommend volunteering. You might just find the answers you've been looking for. Super simple. Tip number 8 is just be positive. It sounds silly, I know, but seriously, being positive isn't always about reacting to something good. Think about a random day where you have nothing going on. By choosing to be positive, you can completely alter the way your day goes. By looking for the good in every situation, you invite the opportunity for good things to keep happening. Once you start winning, it is much easier for more wins to compound. Choose to be positive, and meaning becomes a little easier to discover. The shift in perspective is sometimes all that it takes. Tip number 9 is to think about what your heroes do and why you look up to them. It makes sense. You look up to these people for a reason. Think hard on what qualities they have that make them the one. It might be what they do, sure, but it might also be their character. If you idolize them so much, that will certainly give you an idea of what it is that drives you. My idol growing up was Slash, one of the guitar players for Guns N' Roses. I heard Welcome to the Jungle on Guitar Hero 3 and played through the guitar battle against Slash. That was a big deciding factor in my learning to play music for real. I thought that he was so cool and I loved the attitude of the music. This led to me diving deeper into the music. I instantly became a huge GNR fan, discovered Slash's Snake Pit, Velvet Revolver, and eventually his solo project. I did learn about some of the addictive behaviors from his years in music, but I could separate the image I had of him as a musician and his old habits. I formed a lot of my values and identity as a result of following the musical example of Slash and some of my subsequent idols. I mentioned before that I would like to find a way to bring music into these videos, so this is, I guess, a little bit of that. Part of what I learned about Slash was that he was incredibly hardworking, super creative, and most of all, down to earth, kind, and humble. It was the combination of all of these qualities that made him such an influential figure to me. I didn't think I had this much to say about this tip at first, but there you go. Look to your heroes, discover who you want to be, and find new meaning that was always present in you. So those were 9 tips that can help you find meaning when you feel lost in life. Were there any that stood out to you? Let me know down in the comments. If you found this video helpful, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.